News out of Seattle's Madison Valley neighborhood. A homicide investigation is underway right now along Martin Luther King Jr. Way East and Harrison Street. KOMO's Jeremy Harris joins us from the scene with what he's learned now from investigators. Jeremy?
Yeah, a really alarming situation playing out here in the Madison Valley neighborhood this morning. We are just near Harrison and MLK Jr. Way, and this is where Seattle police confirmed to us that they're investigating a homicide. We've been able to talk with several people who actually saw what happened here this morning. They tell us that there was some sort of a fight here in the street just around 10 o'clock. One woman told me she came out and saw an older woman who was either being dragged out of a car or fell out of a car and then was run over. It sounded like several witnesses jumped in to help, and then police got here. But sadly, we're told at least one person here has passed away at the scene. Other witnesses told me that when the police got here, they were trying to do CPR on the victim. So still a lot of moving parts here in the investigation. Police tell us that they do expect to give us an update with more information about what they've learned here sometime soon. We are expecting that between now and the noon hour if everything goes according to the plan given to us by police. But one really alarming detail here is we saw several people who were in this area trying to locate their dogs, and we talked to them and they told us that the person whose car was involved in this was a dog walker, and that she had 4 dogs at least in the car, and that those dogs during the melee of whatever happened here actually got out and ran off. And so we know there's several people here trying to track down some loose dogs. We also talked to one witness who told me he saw what looked like a small poodle that was running off from the scene that looked very scared. So whatever happened, and we're hoping to get more details from police here, but whatever happened, it sounded like it was quite violent and quite alarming here for the neighbors. So what we know, homicide investigation. Witnesses tell us that it was an older woman who was killed, and there's still a lot of moving parts here as police start to get this investigation going. So we'll keep you posted as we learn more. For now, reporting live in Seattle, Jeremy Harris, KOMO News.
All right, Jeremy, thank you.
First at 6, we are following rapid developments in a disturbing murder investigation in Seattle.
Around 10 o'clock this morning, an 80-year-old woman was carjacked, then run over in Madison Valley. This afternoon, the victim's car and a dead dog were found in South Seattle. Investigators are combing both scenes and looking for the man responsible. KOMO's Jeremy Harris is live at Brighton Playfield with the newest information for us. Jeremy?
Well, and this is still an active scene here at the playfield right now. Crime scene investigators are working here behind me. They are focused on a trash can that is about 25 yards from where the victim's car was recovered this afternoon. Adding to the urgency of their work is the fact that the suspect is still on the run after an 80-year-old woman was carjacked and murdered early this morning. Today, I spoke with her friends who tell me they can't believe what happened.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Bentley loved her.
Bentley is back safe with his mom, Susan Lindsay.
Was running on Lake Washington Boulevard.
He was found on the loose and obviously scared.
I can't believe anybody would do this to a beloved dog walker.
Susan says her 80-year-old friend had just picked him up to go walking with other dogs when the unthinkable happened.
I know that she would defend her dogs if something happened.
Police say the woman was driving here along MLK Way in Madison Valley.
This was a carjacking that resulted in a woman getting killed.
During the struggle, the woman was run over and died here. Some of the dogs she was caring for got loose.
I'm just so sorry.
It's left neighbors in disbelief.
It just goes part and parcel for the kind of anarchy we have in Seattle now.
For hours, it was an all-out search for her car and the suspect who killed her. In the mid-afternoon, police and animal control responded here to Brighton Park, finding her car and a dead dog nearby. No sign of the suspect in the area.
I'm upset, and I'm kind of pissed off because this is not okay. Like, it's wrong. An old woman, you just carjacked an old woman and ran her over.
As investigators piece everything together, what is clear is this 80-year-old woman fell victim to a horrific crime.
How can you murder a dog walker? How can you murder a beloved dog walker? I mean, what is wrong with you? You know, why do you do those things? An 80-year-old woman, you know, with 6 dogs in the car? Really? How can you do that?
Now, as she just said there were several dogs inside of the car when the carjacking happened. We know some of them made it out of the car, and we don't know the fate of all of those dogs, but police have confirmed there was one dog found dead here at the scene where the victim's car was found. It's really an urgent situation, though, going into this evening as police are trying to track down this person. We've asked for a description of them. What do police know about them? Do they have any video? Are there any photos of this person? And we're trying to get that information from police. If they release something this evening, we'll let you know as soon as it happens. For now, reporting live in South Seattle, Jeremy Harris, KOMO News.
Breaking at 6, the arrest of a suspect in the carjacking and killing of an 80-year-old woman in Seattle.
We just learned the suspect is an 8-time convicted felon and was previously convicted of vehicular homicide. He now faces a first-degree murder charge. And just within the last few minutes, our cameras captured crime scene techs entering the suspect's home wearing hazmat suits.
We have team coverage for you tracking this major developing story. KOMO's Lynn Wynn is standing by with the very latest on the woman who was killed and how she is being remembered tonight. But we begin with KOMO's Jeremy Harris, who is live at the suspect's house. Jeremy?
Yeah, things have moved very quickly in this case in the last 2 hours. We confirmed police made an arrest, and we are here at the suspect's home in Capitol Hill. It's inside of this apartment building. We've been talking to some of his neighbors. We know about him. He's an 8-time convicted felon. He's been convicted for vehicular homicide in the past, and now investigators say he carjacked and killed an 80-year-old woman.
Here to give an update.
We now know how police say they were quickly able to identify and arrest a suspect in the carjacking and murder of 80-year-old Ruth Dalton.
Our latent print examiner was able to lift a print off of the victim's phone that was left in the vehicle.
We saw crime techs taking fingerprints off this trash can lid at the Brighton Playfield. Police say the suspect, Jamed K. Haynes, is an 8-time convicted felon with a history of convictions that include vehicular homicide.
Our SWAT team was able to safely make an arrest at that time.
Haynes lives in this Capitol Hill apartment.
And I had my dog, and he went up the stairs in front of me and he held the door open for me.
And police say he had Dalton's car keys on him when he was arrested. Investigators don't believe there was any connection between Dalton and Haynes, and they say she was shoved out of her car as Haynes was trying to carjack her.
It's believed that the suspect drove the vehicle immediately south to Brighton, where he killed the dog.
Police say Dalton's dead dog was found in the parked trash can. While there is still work to do for investigators, news of an arrest was a significant development in a case that has horrified Seattle.
We expect charges to be murder in the first degree, since there was murder in the commission of a robbery, and animal cruelty in the first degree.
So what's going to happen next? Well, we saw these crime techs and investigators go in the apartment just about an hour ago. We expect them to be in there for a little while longer. We also expect Haynes to be booked into jail sometime tonight. He may be in court as early as tomorrow, so we'll follow developments on that. As for him and his history here, well, I confirmed he was released from prison back in 2017. In talking with some of his neighbors, I was told there was sometimes he would have some erratic behavior, but people were not aware that he had any sort of violent tendencies, and they were shocked to learn that he is now accused of Ruth Dalton's murder, and certainly something that took them by surprise, but a relief for the city. Now police saying they have their man in custody. Reporting live from Capitol Hill in Seattle, Jeremy Harris, KOMO News. Yeah, Marion Preston, I just got a copy of the police report here from the jail. The main takeaways in it: police call the suspect a tremendous danger to the public. They also say that he resisted officers when he was taken into custody and then didn't make any statements to investigators. I've been digging into his criminal history. In that, I found concerns from a psychologist who said that the suspect was a high risk for committing future crimes. Jamed Haynes is accused of the shocking murder of 80-year-old Ruth Dalton. Police say it was a random carjacking where Haynes is accused of running Ruth over, then stabbing her dog Prince to death. Today, there was a quick hearing where a judge said there was enough evidence to hold Haynes in jail. But now we're learning about his criminal history, which started 3 decades ago. In the 90s, Haynes was convicted of multiple crimes, including vehicular homicide. He served less than 2 years in prison, but was back in custody not long after. In 99, he was convicted of robbery, and in 2003, assault. We learned that assault was on a prison officer here at the Monroe Correctional Facility. He allegedly stabbed the guard with a 12-inch shank. That case prompted a judge to send Haynes to the Western State Hospital for mental health treatment. There, a psychologist's report noted that Haynes had signs of psychosis and paranoia, and, quote, if he discontinues his medication, which he says he will most likely decompensate in a rather short period of time. The report went on to say Haynes is, quote, high risk for committing future criminal acts jeopardizing public safety. Haynes was sent back to prison where he stayed until 2017. He was released, complied with the terms of his supervision until that expired in 2018. Court records show Haynes hasn't had any new criminal cases in Seattle until he was arrested for Ruth Dalton's murder this week. The case has rightly outraged many in the city and has become a flashpoint in the region's fight to control crime, with both candidates for Washington governor weighing in on X. Dave Reichert saying, quote, years of unchecked lawlessness and tying the hands of our officers has gotten us to this point. And Bob Ferguson, who is currently the Attorney General, thanking Seattle police and saying the person responsible needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Now, the police report revealed also officers said they observed cuts on the suspect's hands when he was taken into custody. The next step for this case is going to be tomorrow. There's going to be another hearing here at the jail. They're going to talk about what bail the judge may set in this case, and I'm told that Ruth Dalton's family does plan to attend that hearing. Prosecutors say they have until Monday to decide on filing charges. For now, reporting live in Seattle, Jeremy Harris, KOMO News. Yeah, a judge has ordered Jamed Haynes to stay in custody here at the King County Jail for now. We knew he had an extensive criminal history, but we learned today just how close he came to being sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, if not for a plea agreement 2 decades ago. Jamed Haynes is now facing the possibility of life in prison for the second time. The 8-time convicted felon is now charged with the murder of Ruth Dalton, an 80-year-old woman who was carjacked and run over in the Madison Valley neighborhood of Seattle. Haynes is also accused of stabbing Dalton's dog, Prince, to death.
The most serious type of animal cruelty available in Washington state, murder in the first degree and also assault in the second degree.
The horrific allegations add to Haynes' extensive criminal history, which includes running a red light and killing a man here in Capitol Hill in the 90s, an armed robbery in Renton, and stabbing a prison guard with a shank in 2003. That stabbing almost sealed Haynes' fate in prison, with prosecutors saying, quote, would have served as the defendant's third most serious offense or third strike conviction, would have resulted in life in prison without a possibility of parole. But a plea agreement spared him his third strike by reducing the original charge.
You know, what we've heard is, why didn't King County prosecutors get a third strike earlier? And there's 2 important things to know. One is that King County prosecutors haven't seen this defendant in 25 years. We haven't seen him since the 90s. But also, I think it's surprising for people to know that not all felonies, according to state lawmakers, are strikes.
The Snohomish County plea agreement for the prison offense gave Haynes the chance for release from prison, which happened in 2017. He stayed out of trouble for 7 years until this week, when he's accused of Dalton's murder. What will happen next is there's going to be an arraignment hearing in early September, and we're told that Ruth Dalton's family plans to attend that. I spoke with Ruth's granddaughter today. She tells me there's going to be a community march to honor her grandmother. Still working out details of when and where that will be, but we'll let you know as soon as we know. For now, reporting live outside the King County Jail, Jeremy Harris, KOMO News.